Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the first final word of the season. And I'm joined by Sarah helping. She's still alive.
I'm still alive.
Lots of you have asked where she's been. I don't know. But she's here. She's here. She's in.
Marie, I'm talking to you, Marie.
Oh, Marie.
I'm back just for you.
She's
just
real.
for you.
She's
I'm
real.
real.
Sarah, 0-0. Crystal Palace away. In a game that was very reminiscent of Crystal Palace away in April, in the same kit. And a 0-0 draw then, and a 0-0 draw at the weekend. Before we get into it, what's your overall vibe after the game? What were your thoughts?
Well, my vibe around the whole situation and everything going on at Everton is really positive right now.
Yeah.
I think after the Palace game, a little bit disappointed, a little bit frustrated, but I'm not going to, lose any sleep over it. I think first game of the season is always a strange one, always a difficult one. Obviously, we've had some of the new players come in, like Iwobi, who I think is going to be a big key player for us. Wasn't able to play. Fabian Delph, Mossa Ken as well, didn't start because we've just got him in. So I think, we haven't got the team that we're going to see week in, week out necessarily. We probably put the best out that we had at the time. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. A point away at Palace. Selhurst Park's a very, very tough place to go. So, and I think we were the better side. The stats will show that we created the better of the chances, the clearer of the chances. Should have won the game, I think, particularly that Gylfi Sigurdsson chance in the first half. The more I see that, I'm like, I think if we could, that was it. And I think if we could have just broken down, got the first goal, I think we'd have gone on to, because we did control the game, I thought, but again, just didn't put the chances away. So, wanted it to be 3 points, of course, because I think we'd have all been bouncing off the walls then, with the summer that we had. But it'll do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, going into the game, we knew Alex Iwobi wasn't going to be available. We knew he probably wouldn't risk Moise Keane. Gbamin was on the bench. No Delph, because obviously the injury. And I think he's a big miss, Delph.
Yeah,
I really
definitely
do. Particularly losing Ghana over the summer. And I suppose going into it, the fear was Wilfried Zaha being on the bench for them, seeing him in the squad on Saturday, and you're just thinking, don't Everton this up, please. But Everton started the game, I thought, really well. Straight, the chance you just mentioned came after 75 seconds, and when that ball dropped to Gylfi Sigurdsson running onto it, I honestly just thought 1-0.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I wouldn't have wanted anybody else running onto that ball than Gylfi Sigurdsson, middle of the goal. And I still can't for the life of me, I must have watched it 30 times, understand why he tried to side foot it into the floor. I don't know why he didn't just put his foot through it and just hit the target.
Yeah, bottom left corner, hit the target. The keeper's, not got a chance. He was stranded. He was, that was the moment, and I think the more even just talking about it, then I can physically see it in my head, and it is frustrating. And as you just said, Gylfi Sigurdsson, of everyone in that team, who do you want to run onto it? Then Gylfi Sigurdsson. But maybe we put it down to I hate the term and the saying when people say, oh, it was too early on in the game. But to be honest, that's all I can really put it down to is that. It's just the first big opportunity, maybe even in his head, you've got that excitement already, you're about to put the team in front, and he just fluffs it, and it's frustrating because, as I say, I think had that one gone in so early on, I think we'd have gone on to really control the game.
Yeah, I think it definitely would have settled us down. And although, I mean, in all fairness, we were the better side, like you said. We were settled. We got back on it. We were passionate. Thought Andre Gomes was good. He was on the ball, switching the play. Thought Bernard and Luca Dean started really brightly. Richarlison was working hard, as he always does, but probably wasn't as effective as what the other two were on the other side. And we had an opportunity. There was one with Bernard when he cut in brilliantly, and I'm thinking, just hit it. And he didn't. He tried the reverse ball to Luca Dean, who stopped running, I think, because he thought he was going to shoot. Then we had the opportunity for Seamus Coleman, where, again, it was good work by Bernard, and he works it back, Luca Dean, to the cross, and it breaks to Coleman, and I'm thinking 1-0, again, 6 yards out. And he side foots it straight at the keeper, and then Calvert-Lewin heads it wide, and you just started thinking then, is it going to be one of them where we rue these opportunities? Because Palace, let's be honest, they were struggling to get out their own half.
Oh, yeah. You know, they didn't have much of the play at all. They didn't really create much. I know towards the end of the game, particularly, Pickford went on to make a couple of really good saves.
Yeah.
But certainly in the first half, it was all Everton. And as you just said then, that we had plenty of chances. Calvert-Lewin probably could have done better with a couple, the headers. Gylfi Sigurdsson obviously missing his opportunities as well. Seamus Coleman. It's like... I think those are the ones where you get that feeling, and you just mentioned it then. Sometimes you get that feeling sometimes 20 minutes into a game where you just go, we're not going to score today.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter for all the chances that you create and everything else. I think psychologically, especially the new season, everyone's like, right, let's get the first goal under our belts and move forward. But it wasn't to be. But generally, in terms of the play itself, I'm not too worried. I think we look at the transfer business that we did, and I think it's fair to say that pretty unanimously Evertonians are thrilled. Of course, there's still people that will have a grumble and that, and I get the whole thing of we needed to sign a centre-half. So what was a very, very positive thing to see was the fact that we kept a clean sheet. And if I could have picked a player before the game that I wanted to know would have a sound game, it would have been Yerry Mina, because... we didn't see too much of him last season. He was, of course, a massive signing, and we had the whole summer of last season. Is he going to sign? Isn't he? Is he going to United? And, of course, we got our man in the end, but he's been riddled with injury. When he first came in, I remember the Millwall game and thinking, but he played well. I thought, you can't make much of a judgment on him based on last season, but I think yesterday, the real positive for me was his performance.
Yeah, I mean, I thought last season, in most games, I thought he was very good. I really did. Millwall, he didn't have a good game, but then I don't think...
We were in a bad spot there, weren't we?
didn't, and neither did Michael Keane. I don't think anyone had a good game that night. And in general, I thought he did okay last season, with enough to show me that he's going to be a good player. You're absolutely right. Saturday, him and Michael Keane were fantastic at the heart of the defence. Okay, they didn't have much to do, but they didn't have much to do because they made sure they didn't have much to do.
Yeah.
Benteke, whether you think he's great, rubbish, whatever, he's a big unit. And Everton just didn't give him any opportunity. Same with Connor Wickham when he came on, because of those two in the middle. Yerry Mina got on the ball quite a lot. We'll have a look at some of his stats in a minute. But you're right, he's one who he needs to produce this season the same way Michael Keane does. There is a question mark over why we didn't get another centre-back, but we all know we hung on for Kurt Zouma. I've seen a lot of Everton, well, not a lot, I've seen a few Everton fans, thank God we didn't buy him after yesterday, which was mad because of David. But I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans saying, I wish we'd have sold him to Everton and all that. So horses for courses. But the big thing I think that some people should remember is Yerry Mina was bought to partner Michael Keane.
Yeah.
He wasn't bought to partner Kurt Zouma. Kurt Zouma was an afterthought because we needed a bit of strength in the defence. So to see those two play in a defence, and as a result, Everton keeping the 9th clean sheet in 12 games, the last 12 games, it's a great base to start, isn't it? And I just thought they coped with everything at the weekend and looked very assured, the pair of them.
They did, and what you've just said then as well, Baz, is absolutely spot on. It became last season, obviously through injuries and everything else as well, but it was Keane and Zouma. And when we first signed, the pair of them on the deadline day, or Zouma obviously on loan, and Zouma came in and played a few good games, there was that debate that we were having of, who do you go with then? Do you go? And I remember having conversations with yourselves and Ped as well, and saying, Zouma's in form, but you've got Yerry Mina, who ultimately, he's not ours, he's Chelsea's. And I think a lot of fans kind of got carried away with, all the excellent business as well that Marcel Brands has done. I think we have to look at Chelsea and go, they were really in a position where they cannot sell, and Zouma did so well for us. But it should have, it is those two. It's Mina and Keane, and 9 out of 12 clean sheets now. I mean,
that's it's a big basis to build on, and obviously Kurt Zouma played in most of those clean sheet performances, but he's not ours, you rightly say. And I remember, probably for the first third of last season, maybe even half of the season, people going, Mina has to play because he's ours. We don't even own Zouma. And then, because we got on to that great run and Zouma was in the team, it just became, it had to be Zouma and Keane. And it's important now that these two settle down and build on this partnership. We need them to both stay fit. I'm quite sure we'll address the centre-back situation in January when we get there.
Definitely.
But for now, this is what we've got. And it was a great start from those two. And I just thought the defence in general, was quite good.
Coleman as well.
Coleman,
had a good game.
you know what? Coleman, I didn't think he did have a good game, but he was okay. But I think what I'm judging him on is going forward.
Yeah.
Because his final ball was shocking. But
you want him to defend first and foremost.
But defensively, no one went past him. He was only one of the chances they had second half. He was nowhere to be seen. Yeah. But I think he was bombing on, and we give the ball away, so he didn't get back. Other than that, nobody caused them any problems. And even Zaha, when he came on, Coleman was okay with him. In fact, he went over onto Luca Dean's side at the end, didn't he? So they were okay. The back four were quite solid. Jordan Pickford was excellent as well. But let's have a quick look at some of Yerry Mina's stats. So 93% pass accuracy, was the highest in the Everton team passing at the weekend. So that's not a bad start for someone who allegedly can't play, of some people, which is mad. 66 of those were successful passes. 7 successful long balls, and he hit quite a few of these. And obviously it was quite blustery and windy at Selhurst Park. So I think this is something as we move forward that we can get out of him if we're drawing teams. And this is something Virgil van Dijk does brilliantly for Liverpool with those long raking balls from centre back. And if he can keep that going,
and we've got pacey wingers now as well, haven't we? So that's a great outlet. The likes of Bernard, Richarlison, Iwobi, whoever else.
Dragging people in.
That's it. Theo. People fuming.
People not happy there. He had 5 clearances in the game, 4 ball recoveries, 3 interceptions, again showing his ability to read the game, which was very, very good as well. 3 aerial duels, 2 successful tackles as well. So, I'm not his name. So, in general, an excellent performance from Yerry Mina. He was on the Who Scored and SofaBet and all of the others. Yerry Mina was man of the match.
Yeah.
Got man of the match across everything at the weekend. But his numbers were better than obviously everyone on both sides. So that to me is a really, not that I've anyone who watched our deadline day stuff and has watched our preview and all that, I've got no worries about him. I've said, for me, I think he can be our like kind of Van Dijk, that monster at the back who can go through people, win headers, be solid.
Yeah, got a goal in him as well, hasn't he? We've seen that massively when, from his previous clubs and for country as well.
Yeah, for Colombia, he's got 1 and 2 or something mad.
Shame he couldn't put that one away at Anfield after a couple of minutes.
This year. He's saving
this year. It's
our year this time. But in general, I thought, he was excellent. And I think you said before, if you had to handpick an Everton player to have a good game at the weekend, who would kind of give everybody that confidence, I think you're right, this fella, because I remember we were sat here, you done the preview with us last year, and you and the other one, the ginger one, where we're a bit worried about Michael Keane, and I was saying he'll be all right, because this fella, Marco Silva, one of the things he does as a coach is he's positional play. He's obsessed with it almost, and I think that kind of coaching to him and to Keane as a 2 will help us massively, and it's a good start. And if you can keep the clean sheets, then you nick a goal. That's a great base to start from. I think when we started last season, we were leaking goals, weren't we? And it was a case of, can we tighten up a little bit, because we've got goals in us now. At the minute, the other end isn't great. We're struggling for goals at the minute, but I think defensively we're doing okay. So I think that's a really good starting point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, there might be some people who look at that and say, Yerry Mina, you'd want Moise Keane to come on. Moise Keane.
Moise Keane. He said it was Moise Keane.
Moise Keane.
Stick to
there you
that.
go. We'll listen to the man himself.
Listen to him.
But there'll be people saying you want him to come on and like play a blinder and score a goal and what. But that's
that'll come.
That'll come in time, and it's a big ask for any. Regardless of what he's done at Juventus and the price tag and everything, for a kid that age to be in a new country, a new atmosphere, you can't be pinning all your hopes on him. And I think, there'll be a few grumbles about Calvert-Lewin and everything as well. But we can't judge Everton on that performance because, like you said, so many of our key players that we've brought in from Brands and Silva weren't able to play for a number of reasons. So, the fact that frustrated that we didn't get the 3 points, of course. I think we had the chances to put the ball in the back of the net and probably should have done. But look, a point away from home, opening game of the season, clean sheet, not lost. It's all right, isn't it? So,
Yeah,
I'm not jumping for joy, but I've seen enough there to just kind of go, it's one of them. Didn't lose any sleep, had a nice takeaway, slept sound. Do you know what I mean?
Off we go. Off we go. As long as you've had your nice takeaway.
Thank you. I'm sure you all wanted to know that as well. But yeah, it'll do, Baz. For the opening day, it'll do.
Mentioned Seamus Coleman there, and the only, in the first half, the only real threat Palace had. They had a few corners on the run, which is obviously, they're a big side and they do that well, so which we defended quite well. But the first corner they got was a brilliant block by Seamus Coleman. It was Andre Gomes I thought he was fouled, and Gylfi Sigurdsson certainly was fouled, and John Moss, Kel's surprise. Given the free kick the other way. And as Gomes is limping back, they take a quick one, and they work it to Max Meyer, and as he cuts in, Coleman makes a brilliant block, and it just loops up onto the net, and it was a brilliant bit of defending by Seamus, that, and we had to defend them corners. But then Andre Gomes had to go off, and I think that's where Everton really lost their way after that. I think up until that point, we dictated it, and you were thinking, if we can just get ahead, we can take these to the cleaners, really. And just before we go on to Gomes, you mentioned Dominic Calvert-Lewin here. What did you make of his performance? New number 9.
Yeah.
What did you make of his performance in general at the weekend?
I mean, it's a tough one with Dom because he's always someone that's going to cause split opinion. I know he's somebody who gets cops for an awful lot of stick. A lot of the time, I think it's totally unjustified. I think it's a big shout by Silva to give him number 9. He obviously knows. Well, does he know what weight it holds? Because Kone had it for a while, didn't he? Mind you, that wasn't him, was it? So,
Sandro.
Sandro had it. He's the other one I forgot about. So I feel like the number 9's lost its power over recent years due to some dodgy decisions.
Yeah.
But Calvert-Lewin's someone who'll certainly know the weight that the number 9 holds. And I thought his play was okay. I think he held up the ball okay at times. He's every time we see him, he's getting stronger physically.
Yeah.
And it's not all about sentimentality, is it? And he's a nice lad, but a lot's got to be said for Calvert-Lewin as a character and his work ethic and everything else. I think he's an asset to the side in terms of but he should be seen as a player to still develop. I think we've obviously signed Mossa Ken. Could he play up top alongside him? He needs a bit of help, I think. Again, all the pressure was on Calvert-Lewin for Saturday to be the man probably that managed to get a goal. And there were a few opportunities, a couple of headers, I think, where maybe he could do a little bit better. Yeah. Whether that's a confidence thing, pressure thing, first game of the season, I apply the same thing to him that I would when we're saying about Gylfi Sigurdsson, missing his opportunity and stuff. Yeah. Don't think he necessarily had the best game in the world, but I think he did enough. But we desperately needed to strengthen our options up front.
He's had one attempt at goal. It was off target, which was the header from inside the box. He had a 73% completion rate, 11 out of 15 passes. Received the ball 21 times in the game, but only 3 out of 4 times in the attacking third. 2 ball recoveries, won 5 out of 12 aerial duels, and 1 ball recovery. So my only issue with Dom, really, is I think he does hold the ball up well. He's getting better at that.
Yeah.
But we need a centre forward that's gonna cause problems or from making his own of his own doing. Yeah. And I think he's got to start getting into the right areas more often than not. Yeah. And too often for me, he's not in the right place. He's outside the box. He doesn't anticipate very well. So that, if I was going to be hypercritical of him, that's the part of his game he's got to develop. Because I watched over the weekend, Liverpool couldn't get out their own half, broke, bang, 1-0, broke, bang, 2-0, 3-0, game's dead. Yeah. I watched Villa and Tottenham Saturday night. Spurs were terrible, absolutely terrible. Harry Kane pops up, bang, bang, goals. Yeah. Win, and it's them kind of teams where I know that that's an elite level. Don't get me wrong, I accept that. But we want to chase that. Arsenal weren't great at Newcastle yesterday. Aubameyang, bang, 1-0. Yeah. Those players come up big when you need it. And that's Dom, if he's going to be a big player for us, has to get himself into the right areas to score goals. It's great working hard. It's great winning headers and taking it on your chest and laying it off. That is important. It's all important. But
you need to Yeah,
You
you've got to
can't back
score
it up.
goals, haven't you, as well? And I think that is the thing. I like Calvert-Lewin a lot. But like you said, sentimentality and great work ethic and everything, they're important things. But if you're a striker, you've got to be scoring goals. And obviously that's something that we did address in the summer, bringing in Moise Keane. I keep doing it wrong. I'm so sorry. Davy Moise Keane.
Yeah,
Just think of Davy Moise.
There
Moise
you go.
Keane.
Moise Keane.
So we've obviously brought him in, and Iwobi as well, who's another attacking threat. What a signing as well he is, by the way. I think whenever we've come up against Arsenal in recent years, I've always thought, what a bloody handful he is. He's always been terror to us.
And the thing with him is he can play a couple of positions as well, can't he?
Yeah.
And I think someone like him, you see, I think if you played Alex Iwobi in Gylfi Sigurdsson's position, Dominic Calvert-Lewin would benefit more.
Yeah.
Because he breaks past. Gylfi, as good a footballer as Gylfi is and gets goals and stuff, doesn't run past the centre forward. He likes to arrive late, Gylfi. That's how he gets it. Or he whips one in from 30 yards. That's what he does.
He's not got the
But
pace,
Alex
has he?
Iwobi is more of a kind of explosive player. He'll carry the ball or he'll run past the striker. And I think Dom needs that, someone buzzing round him. He's not refined enough to get the ball and take people on himself and create something I think Moise Keane is.
Yeah.
I don't think Dom is that striker, but I wouldn't. At the weekend, other players were guilty of missing chances rather than him. It's just that for me, he's got to work harder at getting into the right zones
As a striker,
as a centre forward.
Yeah, totally agree.
Andre Gomes went off. And like we said, he was really he was the metronome of the team in the first half. He kept everything ticking over. 86, just under 87% pass completion, 26 out of 30 successful passes, 18 out of 22 in the middle third. Shows you how much he was on the ball. Completed 1 out of 2 take-ons, 7 ball recoveries, which is a lot from him. Garner had post 9-10 in a game. Andre played 44 minutes and post 7. So already there has to be that. Ped talked about it last week. There's got to be a slight change in the way we play. The other two centre midfield players have to do a bit of what Garner
They have to make
does
up for
he's
what
gone.
we've lost. Yeah.
And Andre was doing that. Attacking 100% pass completion in the final third. And when he went off, we lost our way. And I know some people on Twitter put it down to Jean-Philippe Gbamin coming on. And we'll have a look at him in a minute to see if he really was as bad as what people said.
Give the lad a bloody break.
But I think it was more a case of, A, he come on into a difficult situation. B, I think if Tom Davies would have been put on, people would have gone kicking off, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing him on?
Yeah.
And I think it was just a little bit of both. I think, obviously, Gbamin had said in midweek he probably wasn't ready for the weekend. I put him in my starting 11 because I thought he'd probably want to go with a bit more legs than Schneiderlin.
Yeah.
In there, and obviously Morgan Schneiderlin played, which is fine. And
Was it?
Well, you know what? We'll talk about Schneiderlin in a minute. To be fair, we'll come on to Morgan Schneiderlin in a minute. But obviously, Andre Gomes went off. Hopefully, we haven't heard at this moment in time. Marco Silva said on Saturday he didn't think it was too serious. He said, they were hopeful it was just going to settle down. So hopefully that's the case.
Fingers
Couple
crossed.
of days of ice on it, and hopefully he'll be okay for the weekend. He went off. Gbamin came on, got through half time, came out in the second half, and I thought he started quite assured. He got on the ball, he was knocking it round. Then he got caught a couple of times, thinking he's got all day. His head's up and he's waiting, and bang, they take the ball off him, and he nearly scored.
Yeah,
he broke
thank God they
quickly.
didn't.
Jordan Pickford come out, you mentioned before, made 2 great saves, and he made that one in particular from Jordan Ayew.
What a save.
It was a great
It was
save
right
because
foot,
he
wasn't it?
narrowed the angle, was out quick and made a great block, and that was from Gbamin taking too long. And if anything, that's the big thing I took from the games, that he looks good, he likes to tackle. I'll put his numbers up in a minute and we'll have a look if he really was as bad as people said. But it was that I've got to realise very quickly that in the Premier League you haven't got a minute to put your head up and start looking around. I know I'll pass it over there. Seeing it on Saturday night, Jack Grealish stepping out for Villa, 1-1, 4 minutes to go, edge of the box, tackle comes in, Harry Kane, bang, 2-1, Villa have lost the game. And that's a player who people rate highly. And Jack Grealish will get back up to speed. He'll realise it isn't the Championship, the same way as Jean-Philippe Gbamin will realise the Premier League isn't the Bundesliga. It is quicker, so I've got to speed up in things I do. And it was, that was the biggest thing I took away.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's, you bang on. The Premier League is a step up in physicality, in pace, in everything.
Yeah.
You lose your lapse in concentration for a second, and you could find yourself a goal down. Exactly, you're punished every time for any mistake you make in this league, and I think it was a bit of a baptism of fire. Yeah, you know, it's Palace away. Not the toughest side in the world, but it's a tough place to go, and they're a physical side with you know, a good loud home support as well. Definitely. So no doubt the adrenaline and everything's going. You're about to make the debut for the team you just signed for. Debut, you know, opening day of the season, Gomes has just gone off. It's huge pressure, and I think that's exactly it. Look, once you've made a mistake and you've been caught out, you're automatically then thinking, I've messed up here, I can't afford to do that again. It's a wake-up call, and you're panicking then, and you're on the back foot. I think it's the same in anything you do in life.
Yeah.
Like, I think back to my little driving lessons. I'll be bombing along, seat back, chilling, like, stall, and that's it then. I'm like this for the rest of the thing. Like, and you make mistakes because in your head you're thinking, I've already messed up there, I don't want to do it again, I don't want to do it again. He must know that, you know, people are going to be watching him extra closely with it being his debut and stuff. So yeah, I think he looks sound enough. He's obviously, look, I trust the management that we've got in, and Marcel Brands as director of football. People will be sick to death of hearing me talk about Brands, but I trust his judgment.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You know, I've no doubt this has been a player that has been lined up and watched for a long
12
time.
months.
Yeah,
Everton.
This is it. Every player that's coming in now has a specific role and a specific purpose of how they're going to fit in this team, how they're going to develop. They've planned this so eloquently that I just think, yeah, how the hell are we going to judge someone on maybe like a couple of dodgy moments?
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it's just let's keep our heads here. And I've got to say, don't get me wrong, I can be the biggest crank in the world, and I can be so on it, and so, especially when it comes to football and Everton, because you just care so much and you want everything to work out. But like, let's have less of the knee jerk, please, because come on, we've got to get behind these boys as well, haven't we? What use is it going, he's shit him? He's played 45 odd minutes. Give the lad a break. Let's give him a few months and see how he develops into the season. But look, we've seen it with players before. Michael Keane, you spoke about it before. This time last year, I was sat here with you going, no, not for me, Baz. He's not got the right mentality. He's too frail as a mentality. He's nervous. He's not strong enough. And he turned out to be one of our best players towards the end of the season. So just give the lad a chance.
Let's have a look at his numbers. He had 38 touches of the ball, which is quite a lot, considering he was only on for half the time. Excuse me. So 24 successful passes, 14 successful forward passes. So people, you know, criticising him not going forward. He did. Successful attack and third passes, 10. Passing accuracy, 77%. I seen a few people saying just give the ball away constantly. He didn't. Quite clearly he didn't. 4 ball recoveries. So I said before, Ghana was posting 10, 11 consistently last season. He played 45 minutes, 46. Is posting 4. That's not bad at all. 1 successful tackle, 1 aerial duel, 1, and he suffered 1 foul. So overall, when I looked at his numbers in relation to other players on the pitch, he wasn't any worse than anybody else, really. Obviously, like Yerry Mina, like I said, you know,
he was cut above, wasn't he?
He was cut above, but for Jean-Philippe Gbamin, he was, you know, not bad at all. What was interesting was 10 out of 14 attack and third passes he completed. He was 12 out of 15 in the middle third, but only 2 out of 2 in a defensive third. So in general, he was high up the pitch anyway, which is where we
want to see.
That's what we want. Ghana was as good as Ghana was, and he was, you know, obviously more defensive minded. The 1 successful tackle was the one he didn't lose a challenge. Yeah, 100%. Tackle rate.
Have that.
100% clearance rate. 100% aerial duels won. So, you know, and was fouled. So his stats prove a little bit more than maybe what, you know, the eye test when you're watching the game.
Though, as well, sorry to interrupt you there, Baz, like that when we bring in someone, and, you know, obviously the more exciting signings, I think you say, would be Keane and Iwobi and stuff, but when we signed Gbamin as well, it's another big money signing. You know, he's the guy who's been brought in to replace Garner.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, expectation. We expect to see, like, Garner Mark II come in, like, it just be bigger and better and more exciting than Garner. And because he wasn't quite on it, and he didn't have the best game, like, you know, no one's... But, you know, maybe that's part of it as well. People just get excited and want to see these debutants come on and... You know, we spent a lot of money on you. Go and do your thing. Go and...
But when we signed Garner, I remember a lot of people were like, "Ooh,
yeah,
why are we buying someone from Villa who were relegated and all that?" I remember me and Ped went to I think we played some Spanish team.
Porto.
And we got beat 1-0.
Yeah.
You give a penalty away after 5 minutes or 6 minutes, and people were like,
"Who's this?"
He was just like he was running around like a loon, like he is.
Yeah.
You know, and then a week later against Spurs on his debut at home, he was absolutely brilliant, and then was brilliant for months. So it's, you know, I know what you're saying, and you're right. That's why I say, I wonder what people's reaction would have been if Tom Davies would have been the one to replace Andre Gomes.
Yeah.
I think people would have kicked off anyway and gone, "Why haven't we brought Gbamin on?"
Yeah.
Davies is there, you know. So
yeah, that's it. If Davies come on
first,
and didn't score a goal or do something major, then it'd have been.
Listen, I am talking about a minority of people here, of course, because I think a lot of people.
Like Big Sam would say.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people will just go, "You know, he's all right. He got the ball away a bit, and he got caught, but generally he was all right. His numbers prove he was okay."
Yeah.
I'm not worried about him. I've seen enough of
him
to know that he's a good footballer, and I think the work that Marco Silva will do on the training ground with him, and once he's fully up to speed, I think he'll be fine. And we'll have to get you, because what he'll do is he brings us different things than what Garner did.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not got some of the things Garner's got, but again, you know, we talked about Andre Gomes with the ball recoveries before. We're talking about him with the ball recoveries. Schneiderlin, people who play in, they will have to do what Garner did in terms of that, but he offensively can go. What I'd like to have seen him a couple of times, he broke with the ball. I wanted him to carry on and just hit it.
Yeah,
carry on and have a shot.
We don't really have anyone in our team. People seem to be frightened to have a dig in our team. I found that, like, I used to love seeing that with, like, Big Kurt would always carry it forward. Don't worry, I'm not still pining after him. It's all good. But yeah,
you're right. Carry it forward, and I think that's why. I think that's what Iwobi will bring as well. Take more shots.
Take more shots. That's
the
it.
big thing,
Sometimes I think we try too hard to just pick the lock, you know, and it's like we're getting these chances in, but at the moment, apparently not the centre forward to put the chances away. So yeah.
Everyone's got a way in, haven't they? But
see him score a belter on
he'll
Saturday
smash
now.
one top in, and everyone will
Gladys
go.
Street.
He's all right.
He's all right.
He's
not
bad, actually. He was that, you know. That was Jean-Philippe Gbamin. I thought he was okay. His numbers quite clearly show he was okay. He was alongside Morgan Schneiderlin, and Morgan Schneiderlin, I thought, had done all right up to a point. He'd done what he had to do. He was sitting in front of the back. I think the problem I have with Schneiderlin, when I watch him, he does a specific job and it's fine, but too often when he receives the ball, he just wants to go back towards our goal. And twice in the first half, if he'd have just looked, there was a gap 20 yards further ahead. He spins round almost in a circle to put his foot on it and to look again. And but he was doing the job. He was getting a bit frustrated with John Moss, and he nicked the ball from Jordan Ayew, who went on the floor and made the most of it. It was ridiculous. Spun around as if he'd been shot. But Schneiderlin, frustration, punches the turf 3 or 4 times. You can't do it.
No.
You can't do that to a referee, especially someone like John Moss.
No.
Because they're just...
He gets off on getting the
loves
cards
that.
out,
He loves it. You give him the easiest opportunity to book him there. You know, and the players were complaining about the red card on Bernard, and the challenge by Milivojevic wasn't a great one on Bernard, but maybe in his defence he was looking at the ball, so it would have been, he put his foot out, but he got him. But my argument was Milivojevic completed 9 fouls on Saturday and finished the game, where Schneiderlin done 4. However, he got himself booked for the first one ridiculously. It was nonsense.
It was stupid. He just had a full-grown adult Paddy on the grass, didn't he? It's just keep your head a little bit.
He'd have been better laughing and shaking his head than just jogging away as if to say, or saying to the referee, fair enough, but he's diving.
Yeah.
He didn't. He got booked. And then you walk on the tightrope then, and the second one I've got no qualms about. It was a yellow card. Stupid tackle. But then I've seen a counter-argument, and I don't know where it stood on. It was, if he didn't continue to go in for the tackles, would we be criticising him for not tackling? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just clumsy,
but it was
stupid.
a clumsy, silly tackle.
As soon as he does that, you know it's a red card. Yeah. We're struggling at the moment. You know, we've got Schneiderlin now is suspended for a match. Garner's gone. Yeah. Gbamin's, you know, fresh in. Delph's injured.
Gomes,
Gomes, we've no idea. So that's the thing with Schneiderlin, right? Because the season before last, as far as I was concerned, I could boot him for, you know, I couldn't boot him far enough away from Everton Football Club if I tried. I wanted him out, like, because I thought his attitude stunk the gaff out, and quite often his performances as well. But, you know, given the opportunity when he did come in last season, and then it was his wife who came out, didn't she, and said she'd had a word with him about his attitude, and it was quite an interesting thing. And he seemed to turn it round. He seemed to get his attitude back on track, and performances like the derby at Goodison, he played that, did sound. Well. But then he lets himself down. It's like he's in a bad books with all the supporters of the club, and then he Schneiderlin's all right, actually, he can do a job. You know, maybe he has got a future here doing the odd bit, and then he just does stupid stuff. So
do you blame him 100% for that?
I just think it was careless. I think, again, I blame him for having a paddy and getting himself booked in the first place. You're a professional. You get paid enough money to not do that. I'm sure you're annoyed. I have paddies all the time, but I'm not getting paid 120 grand a week. Or I'm not saying he's probably on quite that much. But, you know, just keep your head. First game of the season, and, you know, there's 15, 20 minutes to go in the game at that point. And you just think, could that extra man have been what we needed? You know, could we have gone and got the win?
It changed the game,
it's just, why get yourself sent off in that situation? And it happens too often. How many times has he been sent off for Everton? I'd love someone got the stats or anything. Joe? Because he's had a few red cards for Everton, and that seems to be petulance. It reminds me a bit of Kevin Morales in that sense. And I think you're nowhere near good enough to bring that risk of you seeing red.
Well, he completed 48 out of 54 passes, so he had 89% pass completion.
Oh, well, there you go then, sorry.
11 out of 12 in the defensive third, 29 out of 34, 8 out of 8 in the attacking third, which is mad. Defence, he won 50% of his tackles, couple of interceptions, completed all of his clearance, completed all of his header clearance, won 1 out of 3 duels, gave 4 fouls away and was red carded. And that to me, you're right, it almost sums him up, because you're saying, you know, you're doing a decent job. Everybody's kind of accepting of you. You've got yourself back in, and you're saying, you know, this is your Milhojevic, 7 fouls, stayed on the pitch, which is nonsense. But you're right, he's got himself in the team. It's an opportunity for him, because Delph's injured and Gbamin's not up to speed, and you're in that position. And to go and commit a silly foul like that. And then we were on the back foot. We just brought on Keane. Dom had gone off. Keane had come on, and you're thinking, go and win this game now. You know, Richarlison was starting to get he was getting involved in the game a bit more. We'd had, you know, in the second half, Gylfi Sigurdsson had had that shot cleared off the line by Van Aanholt. And you're thinking, we're forcing our way into this. Obviously, Crystal Palace had 2 big moments. Max Meyer should have done better. You know, great save by Jordan Pickford. He'd already made the save from Ayew. And then he goes off, and it's like, that's the 3 point. You know, they're bringing Wilf Zaha on, and you're like, we're going to have to go some to win this game now. Yeah. And we just had them back where we kind of wanted them.
It felt like it was going that way.
It was edging back. I was thinking, you know, the last 10 minutes we'll force these right back, because they'd only really got opportunities from our mistakes. And then Schneiderlin's off the pitch, and it's like, give them the onus. Now, okay, they brought Zaha on, he showed a couple of nice dribbles and stuff, but they didn't really. They had one moment where Van Aanholt rolled it across and Luca Dean cleared it at the back stick. We had an effort with Richarlison, which just fizzed wide. But I come away thinking it felt like a typical opening day performance by Everton. It wasn't brilliant. It wasn't terrible. It was just a little bit. People still looked a bit rusty, and I don't know. The manager and the coaching staff work them players really hard, so I don't think it's a fitness thing. It just, I don't know why our players just aren't sharp enough. When you watch the top teams like Man City, and you see like Liverpool, and I was going to say Spurs, but I actually watched Spurs, and they looked like us. Everything was a bit near. Although I believe Liverpool were a bit like that and just took the chances. So do you think then the difference in those top teams is is essentially just their final third players are just better than ours, and that's why we don't win these games.
I don't know, because I look.
I mean, they quite clearly are better, by the way.
Well,
Man City and Liverpool's front threes are brilliant.
Of course, like when it comes to those two teams. But I look at the teams around
Harry Kane's
them.
Brilliant, isn't he?
When he wants to be. Where was he?
Goals,
Champions League final?
Yeah.
You were bad dickhead, Harry Kane.
Yeah. But what I mean is, because he's at that level, and it was half a chance.
They just need a sniff, don't they?
And hopefully that's Moise Keane will bring that for us.
Well, this is it, and we're in a position now, especially after the whole Koeman era and Steve Walsh and all that, where, you know, and after Moyes had left, where we dropped so far back from where we were, and, you know, to now be in a position with the players that we've brought in and the squad that we've got to be looking at trying to crack that top six.
Yeah.
I think we've got the ability to do that, because outside of Liverpool and City, I think when you look at our attacking options now, if the Moise Keane one comes good, you know, obviously he's only very, very young and we don't want to put too much on him, but there already is a lot. We need you to score 20 plus league goals this season. No, so, you know, you've got him, Iwobi, and you've got Bernard, you know, Richarlison, even like Sigurdsson when he wants to. So I look at it and I go, like, other than those two, and you know, we should be looking at, especially, you know, the likes of Chelsea and teams like, you know, maybe even Arsenal.
But you've got to take those chances. I mean, Arsenal, they're another one. I look at Arsenal, I don't think they're great. But Aubameyang, as like I said before, Aubameyang scores the goal, bang, there's the 3 points.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference at the moment for Everton. So I don't know, you know, that's what it'll be. I think, like I said, right at the start, defensively, we're very good. The clean sheet again, you know, 9 in 12 games is a great base. And in midfield, okay, we've got a couple of issues, but I think quality-wise, we've got a good stretch there. So it's going to be the final third, and that's where we really have to sharpen up. And I just think if we would have had, and I know any teams can say this all day long, of course they can, but if we would have had a Harry Kane or an Aubameyang or a Mo Salah, we'd have won that game, because they'd have got that one opportunity and it'd have been bang 1-0, and we've passed it up. And I think as we go forward for the season, it's okay, day one, it's happened. You know, and we come away and it's, you know, we've got a point, like you said before, it can be a tricky place to go and all of that. As we go forward, we've got to start taking those Gylfi Sigurdsson opportunities in the opening minute. They have got to be goals, you know. Bernard has got to get it out of his feet and shoot instead of trying to play clever little 1-2s, and Seamus has got, you know, so they're going to be the defining moments for us, I think, because, again, what I liked about Saturday's performance was we looked like a top team in terms of we went there and we had the ball and we dominated it. We had 500 passes to their 248, I think it was. You know, a high number of passing the ball. We had 10 attempts, 65% possession. So quite clearly we were the dominant side. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't win games. And that will be the thing for Marco Silva. Get that blend right. The press is on Richarlison again. The press is, I love Bernard, absolutely love him, but he's got to start putting the ball in the net. He's got to start shooting. Don't pass off opportunities when they're in front of you. Start taking a chance. And if we do that, we'll win more of these games than we'll draw them, and that will elevate us.
Well, this is the difference as well, isn't it? How many times, especially, look how we ended the season, beating Man U, beating Chelsea, beating Arsenal at home, you know, away from home as well, we picked up our form, and stuff, you know, I just think this is another one that, I know he's not a player that's necessarily going to add a load of goals to us, but having the like Fabian Delph, having him in the team, because I do think, and you know, Andre Gomes, Sidibe as well, you know, bringing in these, we talk about winning mentality, and that is something that's so big in the players that we've brought in, is that winning mentality, and I still think that's massively missing at Everton. We are at Palace and it is 0-0. Now, you're probably a fan of, you know, you're City and it's 0-0 at Palace and there's 20 minutes to go, you're thinking, we'll still win this 3-0. But with Everton, you're like, you know, almost if it gets to half-time at 0-0, sometimes I'm thinking,
you're a bit on edge.
Where's this goal going to come from? But, you know, with players like that, we've got a player who's won the World Cup, players who've won multiple Premier League titles, just someone who's going to go, come on, like, don't let this drop, don't let our heads drop, and, you know, keep going, keep fighting for everything. But, of course, we've got to have that finisher as well. Hopefully it'll be Moise Keane, but...
But they've all got to me. They've all got to weigh in. They've all got to weigh in.
Well,
because
Gylfi should be scoring a lot of goals. Bernard should be adding goals. Richarlison will be adding goals, no doubt.
Iwobi, Keane, and then obviously Dom will get goals. It's just that He's got to do more to get goals.
I can't see him getting more than like 5 or 6 though, and that's the.
But that's the challenge though, isn't it? The challenge for Dom.
For now.
The challenge for Dom is double figures. He's got to. He's number 9.
He
He's
should
got
be.
it.
That's what I'm saying. He should be, but you know, he's never, and he will score a few goals. And he goes through, you know, last season was it the little spell, and though he scored at the Etihad, and he had a little run where he scored a few goals, and he was playing well. He was probably in a spell our best player at that time. There'll be some people watching this going, but you know, he's got to score goals. He's a striker and he's got to score goals. And you want to defend him, and you know, I have defended him, and you want to, but yeah, we need all of them to start contributing, don't we?
Quite simply, we
score a few goals. But I do believe they'll come with time. But we were missing some massive players on the weekend.
I think we missed Delph at the weekend. But listen, just do the goals. Everton, do the goals.
Just do the goals, Everton.
Don't let any in, and just do the goals at the other end, and then do that. We'll be sound. Just a fact. I don't know whether it's a fun fact. It's not a fun fact because we didn't score. But a fact is, it's Everton's first goalless draw on the opening day of the season since 1998 when we drew 0-0 with Villa. So 21 years, thanks to Joe for that brilliant fact there. 21 years without a goalless draw on day one. There you go.
I'd rather.
I don't know whether it makes me feel any
I'd
better.
rather end other things that have been 20 plus years. Do you know what I mean?
But there's quite a few of that. Well, hey, listen, maybe that's what it's gonna be. Maybe it's the year.
Silverware's coming.
The League Cup is ours. Big thanks to Sarah. Let us know what you think. Crystal Palace. We just got nearly an hour out of a 0-0 draw. So
easy, mate.
Crystal Palace 0 Everton 0. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. How are you feeling? Are you still a bit gutted? Is Gbamin crap in your opinion? He's not, but you know, there you go. And you know, are you confident we can still have of course you are. If you're not confident we can have a good season after day one, then
get in the bin.
Go and get a cup of tea, get a Jaffa cake, and just sit and chill and just get yourself confidence and happy again. And Ped's putting some kind of strobe lighting on
literally,
in the right.
Man, what's
so
going
on that
on
note, with Ped literally thinks he's in a festival.
Techno Viking in the corner there.
It's all going off. Thanks for sharing it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And if you want more videos, get over and watch us on Patreon as well. See you later.